We also want to share that working with some resorts that we have been representing the workers for some time now, after the hurricane, we have had some agreement that those resorts that will be going through renovation or reconstruction, that as much as possible, those employees who want to be involved in the reconstruction, that they be involved. That has been happening, and one of those resorts which will be opening this weekend, which is their target date, is Bel Air Beach Hotel, Bel Air Resort. They plan to open to the owners, to receive the owners, and most likely others who would want to visit the island. Not completely. They plan to open between 2 to 3 levels of their property, and that's a good sign, a good news to us. And working with those managers, they have a new management there, and working with that new management team, it's a positive direction that as workers, as St. Martin, we are preparing ourselves to get back on the right track and welcome our homeowners, our vacation owners and visitors to the island. So I want to say how much we appreciate those employees who are working 24/7 to make sure that that objective, the goal of the company, the owners, that it be realized. I also want to mention that there are two very important entities within the Labor Department which we're really concerned about, because it has to do directly with workers' rights being secured and employees' rights are looked at very carefully. We know a number of employers these days are misusing and abusing their rights, and also taking advantage of the effects of hurricane to terminate the employees, especially those employees who have a lot of years with the company. Some of them, they have stopped paying those workers, and these are challenges that we are taking to the court.
Islands Teachers Union, I have noted, and I've been able to go to a meeting, a so-called meeting, where 2 teachers from the public school was called to the meeting, and it was actually not really a meeting. It was just to hand them a letter of reprimand without their being heard. The proper procedures were not adhered to, so the union, of course I was there representing them, they accepted the letter under protest, and they had 7 days to respond to the letter. I feel that this is a grave injustice against teachers, both teachers that really approach the union. It's a grave injustice against the teachers, because number one, in light of what has happened, we had enough soldiers on the ground here in St. Martin to prepare the aspect of the safety of the school. If the fences was down before school started back, it was the responsibility of the management of each school to put fences back, because just like how a child could have left without permission, could have left the premises, people can also without permission enter the premises of the school. So basically, occupational health and safety was breached by the own employer, and then you want to give the teacher that has already a challenging job in our society, you want to give them a letter of reprimand, they should actually pull in that letter of reprimand, commend the teachers and see where they can continue to enhance the environment of the school to actually avoid a reoccurrence of this incident of children being able to leave the premises, because as I'm understanding, it looks as if they expect when a child leaves that teachers would have to go behind the children. So in this event, we have submitted that, and we would be looking forward to a response within 14 days also.
I went to a wake the other day, and as I was walking, I heard some old ladies in a corner, nearer, my God, to thee. Suddenly I have vlam, take a six in your tail. Vlam, don't do your pass. Vlam, do. A domino game just interrupt the whole wake. My mother in the next room, she called me. I ain't answer. So she come outside. She said, you hear me call you? I said, excuse me, woman. Don't you see I'm bad? That's all I remember saying. Now I tell somebody today, I said, if Barack Obama was running in this country, they would not elect him. He would not be elected for 3 reasons. 1, we don't elect black people. 2, we don't elect educated people. 3,
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
History will be made as the philosopher of humor, Mr. Fernando Clark, will be once on the scene with his much anticipated show. We are now here in the home of Mr. Clark, where he will explain more about this upcoming comedy show.
The tickets, boy, you know, I don't really deal up with the tickets and those kind of administrative things. I get my act together and I do it. But I know SOS Radio will have tickets, and I do believe also at Van Dorp, you'll be able to get tickets. The tickets are only $30. Only $30. Because we want people to be able to come out in drones. I don't want people to come one-one. I want family to come. Husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, son-in-law, father-in-law, daughter-in-law, everybody. Bring your neighbor, bring whoever could laugh, bring them. So we keep the price at a moderate price of $30. And you're going to laugh $30 worth of laugh. And not just once, twice, you're going to triple that. So The tickets are already out on sale. At SOS Radio, definitely you could get them. And at Van Dorpeden, if there's any place else that we will have tickets on sale, definitely you will hear about it. But don't wait until the last minute to get your ticket. Okay? Don't say, well, I'm going to wait till the month end or whatever have you. We cannot guarantee that we will have tickets available by that time. These tickets are already in demand. People have been calling for tickets long time. And I know there are some people telling me, I want like 5, I want 10.
My next job is undertaking, because then I'm going to put some comedy and undertaking together. So when you die smiling with me. And then all who are alive looking forward to come do business. You know, Frankie sent me a Christmas card that says, Merry Christmas, all the best for the new year, and we look forward to serving you soon.
Fernando, of all the shows you have done over the years, what makes this show different than the others?
No show I ever did was the same to a previous one. Every show that we have done has been different. If you look at shows like that we did, Fernando Clark Raw, Hurricane Relief, Fernando Clark and his Laughing Stock, Fernando You Too Bad, all of them were different. Different material, different style, different way of deliverance, different jokes, and this show will definitely be different to the others. All new material, but what I can tell the people from now is I'm going to take a short look at some of my favorite jokes, the jokes that I think have made people laugh the most, the jokes that have been requested the most. So the first couple of minutes will be dedicated to my favorites. That section will be called My Favorites. So you're going to get some of the favorite jokes, but the rest of the show, completely different. And it's like experimenting, because the last time the show we did, You're Too Bad, as you know, that show was postponed due to the death of my father. So when we did the show, I inserted a piece about funerals, about death, and that sort of thing. And it was an experiment for me, because I don't know if people are going to laugh about death and about funerals. But it came across very good. So that was an experiment. And again, I will be experimenting with something. I ain't letting the cat out of the bag, but I will be experimenting with a number of things. So yes, this show will be different. I've never had a show that people could say, well, this was the same. No, all of them are different.
Now, the Undertaker does everything for you. All you got to do is dead and show up. The Undertaker taking care of the death certificate, the program, the eulogy, the church service, the grave, everything he's taking care of. All you got to do is make sure you show up. That's why the Undertaker's doing so good. And now you see, if undertaking wasn't good, Undertakers would never leave politics to go into undertaking.
Seeing that you haven't done a stand-up comedy show for quite some time, how are you preparing for this show?
I tell you got good questions this time, you know. I mean, you're really coming down on me hard today. How I preparing for the show, how I usually prepare for a show is not that I rehearse or that I practice or that I go on a rigid, how would I say, timetable. No. I focus, I make my mind clear, I take away all worries, all stress, so that when I come on stage, I could make people laugh. Because if I can't laugh myself, I can't make people laugh. So how I prepare is mentally. I know what I want to bring to the people. I prepare it in a certain way, a certain fashion, and I deliver that. But the biggest preparation is how you prepare your mind. And that is the thing. And that will be no different this time. I have to go and clear my mind. You could imagine if I got a problem. I lose my job, for instance, the day before the show. How am I going to make people laugh and I got problems, I got worries, you know, unless I decide to make my problems into comedy. But it's all about the mind. So how am I going to prepare for it? I'm going to focus. I'm going to clear my mind. I'm going to make sure there's nothing to hold me back. And I coming out 100% in your
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as MyCard. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to MyCard. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to MyCard today at WIB.
Fun miles, from within your reach.
I went to a wake the other day, and as I walk in, I hear some old ladies in a corner. Nearer, my God, to thee. Suddenly I hear, vlam, take a 6 in your tail. Vlam, don't do your pass. Vlam, do. A domino game just interrupt the whole wake. My mother in the next room, she called me. I ain't answer. So she come outside. She said, you hear me call you? I said, excuse me, woman. Don't you see I'm back? That's all I remember saying. I tell somebody today, I said, if Barack Obama was running in this country, they would not elect him. He would not be elected for 3 reasons. 1, we don't elect black people. 2, we don't elect educated people. 3,
For some time now, we haven't had a functioning dismissal committee. I just want to explain the role and the function of that part of our industrial relation management, so to speak, using the union terminology. When an employer wants to dismiss or terminate an employee, or he wants to downsize, or he wants to retrench, he has to approach the labor office. They will issue his application form to him, and like I've been telling union members, on that form you have whether or not the employees are unionized, yes or no. If the employer answers yes, then he should have had informed the union that he's making such a request. That has to be very clear to the labor office. If that is not clear, then they would advise him to inform the union. That's part of the procedure. Now, when that request goes in, the labor office usually should, and today they're doing that, call in the employer, call in the employee, and take their information, whether in the form of a statement, a rebuttal statement, or information given or sharing, and then they would analyze those information. The next step should be that those information should be forwarded to the dismissal committee. the dismissal committee in turn would do the same, what I call interrogation procedure, with the employer and the employee. At this time, there is no functioning dismissal committee. So what has happened? Within the ministry itself, they are doing all of that interrogation and response from both parties. And then they would give the advice to the person who has the decision pen, that is to sign off. Now, what is lacking is the non-functioning, the non-presence of a dismissal committee, because the dismissal committee would go into a more detailed interrogating of the employer and the employee as to the justification of the request to terminate. An employer has to show tangible proof that there's a need to downsize, there's a need to terminate. Not just saying he's losing business or losing income. Because we all know that during this time, income, business, they're not the same. Turnover is not at the same volume. So you'd expect that there'll be a slow period. In everything, there's slow and there's the high season. But that doesn't justify that you want to terminate an employee. And that is happening mainly because those employers whose employees are unionized, they want to get rid of those organized or unionized employees. And as was mentioned earlier, every worker has a right to be organized, a right to collective bargaining. ILO Convention 98 and 87. Now, with the absence of a dismissal committee, it means that the information given to the SG, who is the person who will sign off on the dismissal permission, whether you grant permission or you denied the request, it is based on that information. With the absence of the dismissal committee, the employee information, and in most part, is lacking. And I want to send a challenge to the minister. Get that dismissal committee in place. Otherwise, the department should not grant any permission to any employer to terminate the employees if the business is still operational, is still functioning. If a business is closed, I could understand that they want to get rid of those particular liabilities. But if the business is in operation, there's also legal procedures to follow. Last in, first out. Seniority also count. So not because an employer wants to get rid of employees, senior employees, or shop stewards of a company, that under the disguise of losing revenue, losing income, he asks for permission and it is granted. That's illegal. That's not correct. That's violation of the worker's rights and his human right as well, and violation of the ILO Convention on Decent Work.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank, Discover what's possible.
How can we have, in the new upcoming period, our main concern addressed? What is it that the people want? That was the question that was asked. And we said, as St. Martin Anti-Poverty Platform, for the 5 years that we are already in existing as social organizations coming together, since 2012, 6 years, yes, that what the people want is come out of this situation of poverty. They are not in agreement with the social allowances that are so low. They are not in agreement with unemployment benefits that they can't get, but politicians can get when government falls. They were not in agreement with the old age pensions that are too low. They are not in agreement with the minimum wage. And so for them all to get out of poverty, this is what was our main objective. Advocate on their behalf. So we had to thank the two informateurs that on such a short notice, because they just got the letter from the governor that we have asked to prioritize eradication of poverty, that they asked us in 1 day time if we could be also in the session with some other stakeholders that were invited. So we rallied for the eradication of poverty as a priority for the upcoming 4 years. In Parliament, we want to see legislation that protects in a better way what will be the social allowance, what will be the living wage, what will be the unemployment benefit that people will get apart from cesantia, just as what was arranged for politicians and civil servants. We would like to see that legislation comes in place that provide all the people with more income and so more social protection.